Hey, Jeff, it's Jody Demling with Cardinal Authority. Just first of all, for you guys, what has it been like being down there once you got out of quarantine and had been preparing for actually the games?
Jody, it's been great. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we've been very fortunate with our hotel. If you see, here's my balcony. Each player has a balcony. Every room has a balcony. You're either getting the morning sun or the afternoon sun. Doors propped open. Our food has been fine. I know some others has not, and that's one thing that, there might be many flaws that the NCAA may have had so far before this, but I'm not going to put the food on the NCAA. I mean, your hotel's providing 2 meals for you a day, and we just must have one of the better cooks because it has not been bad. I mean, we've all traveled. You're not expecting a 5-star maitre d' to bring your food to you in a center, a big ballroom. But everything else has been great. We are actually in walking distance to the convention center. So we've been able to, even during our quarantine, when we get our COVID test, we walked over to the convention center to get the test. So we're able to be outside. 2 of our 3 practices have been in the convention center. So we walked to those. We had yesterday's practice at the Alamo Dome and the court that we will play on. So it's been good. It's been really good. Our kids are excited, just ready to get playing.
As a follow-up to that, what have you seen watching film, and what do you expect from Marist?
Well, Marist is going to spread the floor. They're a motion team. They're going to pass and cut, screen away, flare screen on the backside. If you don't switch foot to foot, if you're going to switch it, they're going to slip for layups. Defensively, they're the second best defensive team in the country per points allowed. We're going to have to try to dictate some tempo. We're going to have to get the speed of the game how we want it, and not necessarily let this be a walk it up and down the floor type of game. And then you've got to try to dictate to them on the defensive end, because they'll make you guard for 26 or 27 seconds if you allow that. And then that's when they really pick you apart.
Jeff here at Crawford in Louisville. How have your practices been since you got there? And I know this is the time of year when you look for your best practices of the season. Have you been happy with how everything's going with that end of it?
Yeah, our practices have been great. I've been really pleased. Our first 2 that we had in the convention center, it was a Prince theme with our purple lighting that we had at our courts. I've got a wonderful artwork that was done by Lamont that shared with us a little Prince purple rain, but unfortunately, I think only one of our players actually was quite aware of that, which was a little bit depressing and showed my age. But our practices have been really, really good, Eric. Really happy with it. The energy, the enthusiasm, all of it.
Jeff, there's been a lot of talk. You mentioned about equality this week and things like that. Your message or your tweet this morning. Can you kind of share a little bit of that? I mean, because you guys are fortunate. It's not like that for everybody. What you have, the facilities and things like that, and I think this week has brought a lot to light to people out there on what some programs and just women's basketball in general doesn't get.
No, it really has. And it's not, and I've said this all along, we're not saying everything, if you get 6 pairs of shoes, I want 6 pairs of shoes. Just respect us and make it equal to the terms of the facilities. Like I've had some people on social media, the men have more plates, more heavier dumbbells. Well, you know what? We're not squatting 350 or whatever it might be. So we might not need as many 45-pound plates. It's just making sure we have what we need. And there's bigger concerns for me too. I'm sitting here wondering, like, who saw the pyramid of dumbbells and the yoga mats and signed off on it and said, this sounds great. Like, who was that person? Because I don't care what the men have. That is not even close to being anywhere useful to the women's basketball players. And it's different. And Jody, it's the one thing I say, this is a new year. There's no question about it. There are a lot of firsts. Normally, we don't lift. I don't think we've ever lifted at an NCAA tournament event, because normally, let's say you play your first game on Friday, you leave Wednesday after practice. We lift at school on Wednesday. We get there Wednesday night. We have our practice day Thursday, media day Thursday. We play Friday. You win, it's practice day Saturday. You play Sunday, you come back home. Well, here, we left on Wednesday, get down here Wednesday. You're not playing for us on Monday. So there were a lot of days in between that it would have been nice if they had a facility for our student athletes. And once it was made aware of what the men had compared to our dumbbell pyramid, they made some changes and they fixed it. We were able to get into a weight room yesterday with our players and had a great workout. So we're appreciative of that. But I think we've got to start thinking bigger picture here and looking at some things of being able to ourselves evaluate and say, hey, that's not good enough, guys. We can't even put that out there. So I think a lot of that has been brought to light, and I'm expecting, as we move forward from year to year, changes to be made.
This is Hayes Gardner with the Courier Journal. Jeff, I want to follow up on that. Did you first see the dumbbell pyramid and the yoga mats when you were there, or did you see it on social media? How did you first discover that was the options you had, and what was your initial reaction to seeing that those dumbbells were your weight room, quote unquote?
Well, we knew coming down, it was in the manual, that we were not going to have the availability of a weight room, basically for the first and second rounds. One would be brought in after the second round when they were able to clear out. I would take it some courts that are in the convention center ballrooms and turn those possibly into some weight room areas. So we actually brought our TRX equipment down. We brought some things to do body weight training. So we were prepared for it. It's just the fact when they start showing, and it's comical to me that it's actually the men's NCAA Twitter account that shows them putting the weight room together, is I think when everyone first saw it. So when that's being shown, then all of a sudden it's like, you've got to be kidding me. They're going to give us a pyramid and they're actually putting a full weight room together up in Indy. That's when the uproar came. If it would have been, hey, dumbbell pyramids over there for the men too, and that's just all they were doing, I don't think you would have had any uproar. But when that took place, that's when it was like, guys, we've got a serious problem here. And once it gets on social media, as we all know, you can't. It's not 20 years ago where you can do something in Indy and do something in San Antonio and people aren't going to find out.
Jeff, I want to follow up with that. This is Andrew Chernoff in Louisville. I know in your statement you wrote about decision makers' lack of consideration and communication. I don't necessarily want to put you on a spot here, but should there be different leaders, I guess, leading the sport because of strong statements like that?
Well, I think that's a good question. I mean, that's not for me to answer, but I think those are questions that need to be brought up and need to be asked. Like, I just, it's the disparity that took place. And then to have no communication, I guess, of, hey, what are you going to be providing compared to here? It is a concern. And then, like I said, just that someone would sign off and say that's a good idea is a little bit of mind-boggling to me also. but it's been rectified. So that's one thing. Our play, I mean, it got addressed and it got corrected. So give them props and kudos for that, because it's a nice facility right now. We're actually taking some players over this morning as well that wanted to get a little extra workout in.
Jeff, you've mentioned a lot throughout the year about, obviously you have Dana, but you have a lot of young players, a lot of youth that have not played in the NCAA tournament. Do you do anything extra mentally or talk to them at all, or just kind of let it go because you've prepared to be in this moment, but yet still they haven't been in an NCAA tournament before?
Yeah, I'm expecting them to be excited. It won't surprise me if we throw it over the backboard a few times. A pass might fly out of bounds 8 feet above somebody's head, but that's what comes with adrenaline and excitement. We're going to try to get things going early and get a little tempo involved to let them run those jitters out. But it's more so we prepared for this. They prepared for it. So we talk about that. Our preparation has been on point. Their focus has been great. And now everything you've done since June was to have this opportunity. And again, hard work doesn't guarantee you success, but at least it prepares you for that moment. And as I tell them all the time, at the end of the day, if we don't come out on top of the scoreboard, I just want it to be because we missed shots, not because we weren't focused, we weren't prepared, we didn't play hard. You still got to put the ball in the basket. And if that's the reason why we wouldn't win a game, I'll live with that. So they're excited. They are ready to play. We'll have a good day of practice today again. And then, as I've said, there is no shoot-around times on game days because it's just the court access. So we've got today as our last practice, and then we'll get on that court hopefully at least 40 or 50 minutes before tip and get ready to go for tomorrow night.
Jeff, is there much downtime? Or, I mean, I guess the worry is you're just there for so long, you don't want to be stale. You don't just want to sit around. How are you guys managing that, whether it's watching some basketball or just kind of just keeping from sitting around too much, I guess? Yeah,
we've been actually able to get out with this COVID testing. We have our schedule. For example, today, let me get that for you. I'll tell you what we've got here. So today is Sunday. So we have our COVID testing at 1:45. So we'll walk over about 1:15. It's about a 5-6 minute walk. You go through that process. It takes about a half hour for 45 minutes, and then we'll practice at 3. So we'll get 90 minutes. So now we're 3 to 4:30. You come back here, they shower, get changed, we eat, we'll watch games. So it's been pretty good. Like, we haven't just been sitting in the room. And Eric, it makes a big difference when you are able to open a balcony door and get fresh air to come through and hear the noise outside. You don't feel like you're just confined to one room.
And one thing I wanted to ask too, I mean, I don't guess it's any secret the things you're going to stress going into this. It's, staying in front of your man, rebounding the ball, the simple stuff. What are the keys for the tournament for you as you keep finding yourself stressing them here in this week of preparation?
We've got to take good shots. I think that's going to be the key for us. We have to eliminate forced shots. We've got to make that extra pass, but at the same time, when you've got a good shot, don't pass it up. I think that's going to be really, really important for us. And if we can limit the number of forced shots we take, then I'm going to like our results. And then, as you said, I mean, all year rebounding is important. Our defense has gotten much better the past few weeks. And then our bench play. I've got to continue to get that same bench play that we had in the ACC tournament, because I thought that was a huge difference maker for us.
How hard is it on that taking good shots? Because all these, they can all score. I mean, and a shot isn't necessarily a bad shot, but it might not be the right shot sometimes. How hard is it to feel?
Well, as I try to tell them, if you're having to shoot over somebody, it's probably not a good shot. If I've got to make an acrobatic step back, it's not a good shot. We're looking for rhythm shots, shots in rhythm. Get me a nice pass where I can step into something, rise up, and shoot it. We've got to be able to penetrate, draw a defender, and then make that pass to where it's a rhythm shot. And we have to go inside out. We've talked to our kids about that, and I'm going to continue to preach it. We've got to get our post players involved early.
Coach, this is Paul Miles at WHAS Radio. The Louisville and the Kentucky women's teams are the only ones playing in the tournaments now. Is that an added incentive for your team? Do you expect more eyes on your team? How do you take that?
No, I don't expect any more eyes. I mean, we have always had a great following. Our fan base here at Louisville, they follow all of our sports. It's not just, we only watch men's game. I mean, we've been doing this for 14 years here, and we've had great success. And I'm very appreciative of our fan base. And we're just going to go out here and try and do what we've done throughout this year, and that's compete at the highest. It is pretty special. I mean, it's a pretty unique year when you talk about Kentucky, Louisville, and Indiana. Our little area, all three women's teams are ranked, have all top 4 seeds, which I think is a credit to the basketball that's being played at all 3 institutions.
Hey, Jeff, Tyler Griever from WHAS 11. You kind of spoke to it there with the 3 programs and where they're at. What has it been like to watch that development all around the area, to see all of these programs so close to each other kind of rise up and get to this point?
Yeah, it's been great. I think it's, we've always had great basketball. The games, and the competitions when Matthew was at UK, Matthew and I both started the same year. And, we both had programs that had some success. Tom Collin had done a great job before I took this position over. But we both elevated our programs to a national level. Kentucky has done a great job. Matthew was a huge part of that, and now Kyra has taken over the reins and had a very good year. And that's kind of the way it's been between us two. I mean, we've had, a couple of recruiting battles going back and forth and some exciting things like that. But, except for when we're playing them, I'm rooting for them. Because I think that the better our in-state teams do, the better it is for women's basketball in our state. And then Indiana has just had a remarkable year, playing some really good basketball. And then you've got Grace Berger, who's having a fantastic year. She's from Louisville. And we had recruited her. She just decided to go to Indiana, which is part of it. I say it all the times. We're very fortunate to have a lot of very talented players in this area. And you can't get them all.
Anything else for Coach?
I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much. And again, thanks for getting up so early. I mean, Nick's